Yeah, I mean, my business didn't change too much. I'd be honest with you. I was able
Okay.
to. I mean, uh, as rates went up, cap rates did not go up with it. So people just didn't trade. There wasn't a lot of things to buy during that period of time. I think it just got very dry. They weren't the people owning these properties, brokers, friends of mine, brokers who are making these calls and trying to take these deals from, these older management, older owners, families that own properties for a long time, the mismanaged, the kind of old timers not raising rents and just kind of, cash flowing because they bought it so cheaply. Okay.
Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hey folks, welcome back to the show. Today's guest, Mike Hajjar, is a real estate investor and operator with over a decade of experience across Massachusetts and Rhode Island. He's transacted over $44 million worth of real estate and 350 units. He's also founded Longview Properties, a property management company, and his work centers on uncovering underperforming assets, raising private capital, and executing strategic renovations and operational improvements to force appreciation and cash flow. You can find him at lvproperties.com or on LinkedIn. Mike, thanks for taking the time today.
Hey, thanks, Dylan. Appreciate being here.
When we talk about value add multifamily in Massachusetts and Rhode Island, and we were talking about this before hopping on the show here, this is a highly competitive space, and you really got to pick your spots in order to be successful. Walk me through getting into this space, and then also too, what those first years were like for you in this space.
Yes, you do have to pick your spots. I mean, it's what they say, you make money when you buy, right? If you're not buying it right, if you don't know your numbers, you're not buying it right, you're setting yourself up for failure. You have to know your systems. I mean, you have to know a lot of what you're getting into. The early years, I would say, were slightly easier. I mean, the prices were a lot lower. I was buying in 2016, 2015. I was buying, I was being offered units for like $36,000 to $50,000 a door. Very tough areas. This is in like Woonsocket, Rhode Island, Pawtucket, Rhode Island. But something that, I look back and say, thank God I did, was I basically bought everything that made sense that year. Like, it came up, a 12 unit. Okay, I'll buy it. A 9 unit, you bought it. And so the first year I bought 50 apartments. I went from, I lived in a 4-family that I owned in Quincy, Massachusetts, and in 2014 or so. And then, you jump right in the business. I think scale too is important. So I didn't want to buy one 9-unit building. I didn't want to buy a smaller portfolio. I thought, if you're going to be in the business, you want to be in the business, right? And that means, property management, My good friend, late friend John, and I, bought those early units. It was a team. I was underwriting the deal, understanding it, getting the financing, learning about the financing. How does the financing work? How to interface with banks. Okay, can you even buy the deal? And then the broker, and then eventually, once you bought them, now you're dealing with these tenants, right?
Yeah.
So,
That's
value
right.
add to me it's a dance. You're buying occupied buildings, right? This is not new construction. This isn't a house flip. This is a multifamily flip with people involved. And, value add is probably defined by mismanaged properties.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
Yeah. When we talk specifically about that aspect of it, and I know you founded a property management company, I've heard even, it's tricky to even replace a poorly performing property management company because just in that turnover, there's going to be more difficulty, right? So it's almost like, well, do I replace the current property management company, or do I work with them to try to improve things? Because that's going to, potentially unsettle things for maybe a couple
Yeah.
of months while people are getting used to it. Now, you also mentioned buying in that time period, 2014, 2015, 2016. From what I understand, from what people have told me, this was like the time to buy multifamily real estate. Like you almost couldn't buy a deal wrong in some spaces, at least in
It
Texas.
still was scary though. Every market, every market you think it's a top. I remember, like, I can look back at pro formas that opportunities to buy beautiful 24 unit brick buildings. Like I said, I bought a lot of what came on my plate, and that was my strength. I did not get, paralysis by analysis, as they say. Uh, I kind of jumped and did it and figured it out as I went. Um, you know, but the um
Well,
you have to look at those. So I'm looking at the rents of these things, and at the time these rents were 850, and the pro forma was like 1250, or the rents were 700 or 800, and the rent in the pro forma is 1500. I said, geez, I can't see it ever being $1,400 for a two family in North Providence or in Attleboro. And then you look back, and now we've blown way past it. So every market has a what seems like an expensive price. You have to foresee down the road. We're at a point, perhaps, in my opinion, I don't like high rents. I don't think buying properties with very high rents is a good strategy now. And even then, because the middle end market, the C class, the B class, is always someone that's going to fall into your $1,200 rents, $1,400 rents, $1,600 rents. Even now, $2,100 for the right product in the right market is a steal, because every new building, of course, is being built, as you know, in Texas and here, everywhere. Um, they have to go for luxury.
yeah.
Do you know
That's
any do you know anybody building affordably? No.
Yeah,
And
when it is, looks like luxury. They call it affordable, but it looks like luxury. And what I've heard, and I'm curious to get your perspective on this because you were very active then, is that there were deals, and most people might have like a 5-year, you know, exit. That's the plan, but they were exiting in half the time or less. And so, people had this almost mania, like, hey, we've got to, buy now. And then that extended into maybe 2020, 2021, when things switched, right, for everybody. And so, really, if you use those same strategies from 2014, 2015, 2016 up until 2021, 2022, you were finding yourself in a tough spot.
If you're looking for consistent, high quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency, it's the most sophisticated, data driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
Yeah, I mean, my business didn't change too much. I'd be honest with you. I was able to. I mean, as rates went up, cap rates did not go up with it. So people just didn't trade. There wasn't a lot of things to buy during that period of time. I think it just got very dry. Um, they weren't the people owning these properties, brokers, friends of mine, brokers who are making these calls and trying to take these deals from, these older management, older owners, families that own properties for a long time, the mismanaged, the kind of old timers not raising rents and just kind of, cash flowing because they bought it so cheaply. Okay. So these guys basically, they're like, I'm not going to reduce the price. I'll just keep it. Well, I've owned it for 30 years. Why am I going to sell into this environment where, I have to give a discount because the rate is 8%. Um, over leveraging. Yeah, there was some people I'm sure that had to exit Massachusetts and Rhode Island. I didn't see any distressed multifamily
Hmm.
at all. One. I mean, I don't think anybody has missed the mark yet. Granted, I mean, I exit in, I'm like a 1 to 3 year historically. One is pretty quick, but 2 to 3, 4 year hold guy. It's a business plan that we buy. We buy these buildings. What I like to do and what we've done is we buy these buildings with the business plan of a 1 year, really 2 year rent increase, rehabilitation. We get a construction loan, we get 1 year interest only, and we go, pretty aggressively renovating. We give something back. We're not just raising rents without any return. There's always a big. Recently, the past three, probably 10 deals, we've done all construction loans. Even if I don't really need it, I'm doing it because the bank likes to see it. We're adding value. We're always finding something to do. And then you can raise the rents, and oftentimes it's very welcome because the last guy, granted the rents were $800, but the place is overrun with cockroaches, and the electric doesn't work and nothing works.
That's right.
So to go from 800 to 1250 is not the worst if you're not living in squalor.
I want to ask you the property management space because I know you're vertically integrated. You founded Longview Properties. Walk me through that. And was that because you were having maybe some level of challenge dealing with other property management companies in these deals?
I started out property man. I didn't have a property manager for those first 50 units. And those were probably the toughest units. I mean, I inherited some really crazy people, some nasty things. Okay. And some bad buildings, buildings that were never supposed to be a 9 unit building, walls thinner than paper, and crazy people basically. And, tough to navigate. Um, not everyone was crazy, but there was obviously some interesting characters, and you have to navigate that. Um, and what I found during doing that, obviously, I learned the systems. We had a lot of these are older buildings, right? They never had the investment um, required to improve them at all. I mean, everything was as original as it gets, right? And they needed a lot of love. um, so, in that process, I learned how to treat tenants. I think this goes to our strengths and why I'm very passionate about like moving ahead and raising money, getting more people involved, because the competitive advantage of seeing these, 25 successful deals, they've all been great. They've all done very well.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
Seeing the success of these, it's a competitive advantage to actually care. You have to care about the people. You have to handhold the project. You can't hand it over to a property management company. I don't think there is a value add guy that does well handing it over to a property manager, because they're property managers. They're not project managers.
That's right.
We are project managers when it comes down to it. That first 2 years is not a property management. It's project management. You told the bank that you were going to do something. You were going to raise rents. You were going to spend the capital. You were going to do whatever. And they are trusting you to go and do it. Right. A recent building we had bought in Providence, a 12-unit building, didn't see it coming. 6 people left day one. Right. Luckily, I wanted most of those people to leave. And then we actually got almost everybody. This is a particularly poorly managed building, totally poorly managed building. Guy had no leases, didn't know who lived there. Nasty, crazy things, basement and needles and all the rest. So we cleaned it up really good. And yeah, so that runway to remove tenants and to work with people, the last 2 people we got out was probably 8 months later. So it's a legal process, and you have to be human. You have to convince them that they need to leave. To send a letter and say, hey, meet us in court, and you have to be human. You have to level with these people, and even at the scale, and that's why it's a tough business to scale. I'll be honest, because I want to be involved, unfortunately, in these processes. The harder the tenant, the more I'm involved.
Yeah.
10%. Because you don't want a legal issue. You don't want to fester. I've never had a squatter. I've never had the issues that people say are why you don't have apartments. If you respect them, they often respect you back. In some regard, they're not going to just dig in and totally screw you.
Right.
So that's where I think, to your question, in property management, and the property management is when the property is performed and it is in cruising altitude. All you're doing is raising rents 2% a year or whatever that number is, flipping units. But I would not trust another company or someone outside of of us to actually bring real value.
Yeah,
because there's no money in there's no money in buying a 7 cap and just leaving it there. Like no one's going to invest with you, and no one.
The property management, to your point, like these are the people who are going to be making the changes that are doing the value add when it comes to an operational standpoint, right? So for anyone who's buying these deals in that especially that first year to entrust someone else and just kind of be hands off, that's it's very challenging to do that. You really have to have a high.
Yeah, you'd end up interjecting. I mean, I've inherited some property management companies. I bought a 42-unit building. I inherited a property management company. That's probably the catalyst where I said, you know what, we're doing it ourselves. A, there's a lot of money to be made. B, you spend all your time auditing their expenditures. They'll take I'm looking. Why are you replacing the guts of a toilet 3 times? Replace the toilet. I mean, I'm spending $800 on this toilet.
Yeah.
More. Replace the toilet.
What's going on here? Yeah.
Yeah. Or stop chasing this mouse. So there's inefficiencies with property management. We're a property management company. We do third party property management. That's something new that I've come around to. More in the Quincy area. You said you lived and worked in Quincy, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
So I mean, this area, Boston, Mass, Quincy and the South Shore and Greater Boston. There's some high rents, especially now. I'm interested in third party property managing nicer properties that are they're not a project, they're property management.
Right. Right.
We'll listen, we'll pick up the we'll people we manage places with a pool, single family with a pool. These are like luxuries that are far cry from the $330,000 9 unit I bought in Pawtucket.
Yeah, it's amazing to see the journey, right? Looking back. We are coming up on time here though, Mike. Any new projects that you're working on? And then also, what's the best way for folks to get in contact with you or your team?
I mean, you could reach us phone. I'll give you you can call me anytime. I like education. I'm not sure how much time I should be spending on, where do you go? I mean, the best pay dirt is obviously to find these properties that are mismanaged before they all get sold. Eventually they're all going to get sold. And Quincy is a good example, and South Boston is a good example. Eventually, they're all performed, right? There's no more game to be had. So, and I have to keep going outside. You have to keep going further and further. So, I mean, I am in, a mindset where we established a company, our investment arm called Longview Ventures. We've since done, one pretty good syndication deal, 25 units in Fall River. A lot of friends and family joined there. That is really where we're directing our energy. If I had the capital, to that wasn't just my own, and wasn't just a small group, if we had the bandwidth to go and get everything that was, that fits the model right now in the next 3 years, the opportunity is here, to actually take down some of these properties that have been owned in families for 50 years, right? And as soon as they trade once, it's over. Like if you don't buy them now, it's over. I'm looking at 36 units in Providence next week. Uh, these are packages you have to buy. You're buying them. There's
Yeah.
30% more in the. They've been underperforming, and it's right in our wheelhouse, and you have to buy them, right? And these things are the ones that turn into 20, 30% annual, IRRs, returns over time.
Yeah.
So I think that's a project we're most excited about, where we are actively raising money. We do have a fund open right now. And that's, something that if anybody wanted to talk about, we'd love to discuss further.
Mike, thank you so much for coming on the show. Thanks for taking the time today.
Yeah. Thank you, Dylan.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.